Hey everybody, welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with the miserable liberal and Ron Placone.
Howdy, howdy.
Hello.
So guess what? I've told you, I've advocated on this show, I've told you the wonders of pot. We told you how it helps people with Parkinson's. We showed you that video. Look for it. We showed you how it helps people with epilepsy, people who have all kinds of problems. It helps little babies. Oh, it's so heartbreaking to see a baby who has seizures, and pot fixes it.
Jimmy, I think it needs to be researched a little more.
But I'm with Chelsea Clinton. We still don't know. It's still super dangerous. It's still super dangerous. I mean, it's super dangerous. I mean, look at this is the end. Just one look at the annual deaths from marijuana. So tobacco, get you 400,000 every year die from tobacco. 400,000. Right? That's like 12 9/11s. No, 12. That's like 120 9/11s.
That's how Rudy Giuliani measures everything in his life.
Yeah.
In terms of 9/11s.
Alcohol kills 100,000 people every year. I would think it would be much higher than that because of car accidents and what have you.
Yeah, it probably is. They're probably using like some kind of weird measure to determine that.
And most like people who die swimming, they go, "Oh, he drowned." No, it was alcohol, right? If he was drinking, or boating accidents. Oh, skied into a tree. He was drunk. So legal drugs, 20,000 people a year die from legal drugs. Illegal drugs, 15,000. Maybe, isn't that funny? Maybe you want to switch that then. Make the legal drugs illegal and the illegal drugs legal. Maybe we'd save some people. That's hilarious. Caffeine, 2,000 people die from caffeine.
Now, how do they prove that one? I'd be curious.
I would like to know how they do that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an addiction that I have.
Yeah, like how do you figure that one out of everything else that they were like? I think they were really hopped off.
Death by
forget it.
Death by caffeine. Death by caffeine.
He drank so much coffee, he pissed everybody off enough, and they killed him.
I drink about a quart of coffee a day at least, probably more, probably a gallon.
I'm about a pot.
Yeah, I love coffee. I can't get by through life without. Of course I could, but I don't want to. Marijuana. How many deaths from marijuana? Let's see. I can't see that number. Ron, what is that number?
It is. It's 100 with the 1 and the 0 taken away.
Oh, so it's like. It's 0.
Yeah, it's 0. It's 0. You know, I used to have a math teacher that did that to mess with kids. Like, whenever we'd have quizzes, he did this thing where, if you really screwed up and you totally botched it, he'd be like, "Congratulations, buddy, you got 100% minus the 1 and the other 0." And that meant you bombed it completely. Brutal guy.
Hilarious.
Teacher humor.
So there you go. And guess what? More good news. More good news. Look at that. Marijuana may help organ transplant patients by delaying rejection. This is an old article, by the way. This is from September of 2015. But I just found it. I just bumped into this article, so I figured I'd share with you, because I bet you didn't know that marijuana helps with people getting organ transplants. It stops them from rejecting their own organ. I bet you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
We didn't know that. A team of researchers from the University of South Carolina School of Medicine found that THC successfully delayed the organ rejection in a group of mice. Cut out the part where I said USC. Did you have them cut that? For the study, the researchers took 2 groups of genetically different mice. I didn't know mice could be genetically different from mice. Skin graft from one group of mice was grafted onto the other and vice versa. We are excited to demonstrate for the first time that cannabinoid receptors play an important role in the prolongation of rejection of a foreign graft by suppressing immune response. Look at that. Isn't that something? And I like the co-author's name is Mitzi. Hey, Mitzi. It's a scientist. Scientist Mitzi. Mitzi's supposed to be an entertainer. Mitzi Gaynor. That's the one I remember. This opens up a new area of research that would lead to better approaches to prevent transplant rejections as well as to treat other inflammatory diseases. It's a wonder drug. It is a wonder drug. Glad it's still a Schedule 1 drug. Barack Obama couldn't move it off.
Well, we had all that scientific research that was done in the 1930s by a propaganda film, and that's been really hard to disprove.
Oh, that sure. What was that? What was
Reefer
that?
Madness.
Reefer Madness.
Reefer Madness, yeah. That's what we base our drug scheduling on, a propaganda film.
Yeah, and the reason why marijuana is illegal is because of William Hearst. What was his middle name?
Randolph?
William Randolph Hearst. It had a lot to do, but it had more to do with money and what have you. And he owned paper farms, he owned paper mills, and he wanted to print newspaper on paper. Hemp, a lot cheaper. Also, it had to do with nylon, like you can make a parachute out of hemp, and the people wanted to DuPont and whatever. So it's all about money. It's nothing to do with that marijuana is a bad drug and it's bad for you. It has to do with the oligarchs manipulating the press and the government, and now we have people in jail. We have the biggest prison population in the world.
Mm-hmm. And the pharmaceutical industry and racism. There was also those racist undertones back then because a lot of African-American musicians were using them in the jazz clubs, and it's like, oh, well, we can't have that. That's bad. We got to outlaw this.
Well, he would literally, William Randolph Hearst would plant stories in his newspaper about hemp, but he wouldn't call it hemp. That's what they called it, because a lot of people grew hemp in the United States. They called it hemp. He decided to call it marijuana, which is what they called it in Mexico. And he would say a bunch of Mexicans came across the border and killed a family. That's what they would do, high on marijuana. So that's how the press works. They still do that today. I don't know if you turn on MSNBC and you hear him talking about Russia, but that's what they're doing. And that's why. So it's been illegal. Has nothing to do with, and so that's why you realize at some point that the law is bullshit, in general, and that it doesn't make you a better person if you follow the rules, because the rules are arbitrary. And one of my favorite old movies, who's the actress who says that stuff? That people who follow the rules are suckers.
Joan Crawford.
Joan Crawford says that. Do you know what the movie is?
No.
She says that in an old movie. And she's right.
If you know the name of the movie, put it below in the comments.
You know who doesn't play by the rules? The people who run the country. Wall Street, insurance companies, military-industrial complex, big pharma. They don't play by the rules. Silicon Valley, they don't play by the rules. They have slaves make their stuff. Nobody plays by the rules. You know who has to play by the rules? People with no power. We have to play by the rules. So anyway, I don't know how I got off on that, but I know it's because we imprison people for freaking marijuana. That's why. And I'm sure if you asked all the fellas, the hosts of the major news networks on television, they would all be like, I'm not sure. We have to study it. What do you think Wolf Blitzer would say? I don't know. What do people think?
Is there a poll?
You know, it's going to cost a lot of jobs in the alcohol industry if you legalize marijuana. It's going to cost a lot of jobs. Yeah, and people maybe they won't die. Maybe families won't be broken up, kids won't get abused, there won't be as many car accidents, people won't die of cirrhosis of the liver and whatever. I don't know, maybe it would be a good thing. Maybe it would be a good thing. Hey, our next live Jimmy Dore show is April 24th. April 24th, live in Burbank. We do 2 shows a month, live shows, so get your tickets right down there, jimmydorecomedy.com.